Want to do a little handle carving for the next kindling splitter. It's going to be this main axe. I don't know what if it could be a wedge. I don't know if you guys can even see this well. Could be a wedge, but it's got a sweet splitting profile. Perfection. Really can't ask for much better than that out of like a 3 pound axe. So I figured this is going to be perfect for kindling. And I'm putting it on like a 23 inch. I just want to make sure. Oh yeah, got plenty of room. Show you how much room I have. You see the eye? So I got all that room to work with, which is perfect for one reason, because as you can see, this is wider than here, and it's really important not to take off too much material right below where your axe is going to sit, because you always want a little bit more just in case you're going to bring it down, or just in case you take too much off and there's a gap in the back below on the bottom of the eye. You don't want that. So I already did like 5 or 10 minutes of hatchet shaping here. So I got a little piece of leather here. Let's strop these a few times before we start. I think I'll start with this little one. I already removed the bulk of the material. You know what? This one's cooler to use, so let's also do that, and maybe we'll start with this. Okay. So this is about 3.5 pound double bevel broad axe. Not sure exactly what it was for. One annoying part of carving handles is usually you only trace. Usually you only put the marks on one side, so you kind of always have to be looking at that side to see where you can actually remove material. I did realize yesterday that a nice thing to do is to lean it against here instead of using your own hand like that. So, you know, your own hand is getting kind of bashed. You could just lean it on your little carving stump. Much sturdier, and it doesn't hurt. Oh yeah. So this palm swell is not shaped how I want. Try not to stick it in the stump, that'll mess with the fine edge. So you can see this has no kind of, it doesn't really go in that way. So I got to keep extra material so I can perfect it. Yeah, I can pretty much do exactly what it says with the lines here, though. Also, not a big hump there. So really what I want is a hump and then a divot. And then a convex and then a concave. And I'm going to have to let that kind of come out when the handle gets thinner and easier to work. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah. So yeah, you see how I'm constantly looking down because this is where my lines are. And if I go beyond my lines, I got to change something, or I've pretty much ruined it for the plan. Which I always do loose plans when I trace a handle. It's very loose plans. It's a rough template. I don't draw it perfect, and I also don't shape it exactly how I drew it. So, oh boy, doggy going crazy. See how my hand has to hold it. You can get splinters that way. It can get a little uncomfortable depending on how hard you're whacking on the piece of wood. Oh yeah, all the way around. Okay, now I can see them in the sun. Just make sure if you're new to carving, and this is carving, I think so when I say I'm carving a handle, I think it just means you're using edge tools, you know. You're not using rasps, you're not using machines like a bandsaw. I'm carving it by hand with hand tools that have edges, sharp edges. There we go, now we're looking good. Oh yeah, I have a lot that I can remove here. Just want to make sure that I don't go down too far on the tongue, just so I have extra space. But I know that I got a lot of room, so I'm going to remove a little bit, but try not to go too far. I'm going to make sure that the top is a little less wide than here to here. Alright, what else we got here? I know I could take a lot off the front, but once again, I want to be careful, not go too far. And here's where you can get that curve going. You see how sturdy that is? I can really bang on it. You just want to make sure that your fingers are really out of the way. They say if you don't know where your fingers are, then they're in danger. Not quite sure about that one, but I understand why they say that, you know. One of those dummy rules where it makes a lot of sense for a beginner. But once you're very used to the carving techniques and, you know, it's just repeating it over and over again once you carve one handle. And, you know, you improve your technique over time, but, oh, wow, it's pretty out of square here. I'll show you what I mean. So I picked this to be the palm swell purposely. It has a divot here, a little concave, and I was debating putting it up top in the tongue, but you know what, as another rule of thumb, as another dummy rule, the best lumber should be the top half of your handle. You know, top half of your handle should be the best lumber, because from here up is where the most breaks happen. So I figure let's just, you know, let's not have any wavy kind of stuff. It does look pretty good now that I look at it, but I have to remove a lot more material here than on this side, on the other side. See if you can see it. Probably not. Yeah, you can kind of see. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so this side I got to remove a little more here. You can see it right there. That doesn't matter, that'll be extra anyway. Let's see, where else I got to go? So let's bring this swell a little further back again. Do the same thing we just did. Okay, now I really want to make sure my hands are in the right place. And you know what? Let's not even, we don't need to go too hard. One thing that can happen with my holding hand is it can get pinched between the stump, the table, and the piece of wood. So I'm just trying to kind of put it against there. All right, now that's looking better. Let's take a little material off. Let me take a little bit of the tear out off. Yeah, that's looking good. All right. Maybe I should go for the back of the handle. I'm not the best with palm swell, so I'm very careful now. The easy part is the belly of the handle, the back of the handle. The shoulder is similar, but it's not as hard to shape as a palm swell correctly. And when I say palm swell, I mean a vintage style fawn's foot. You know, something real comfortable, something made to use. That's what I go for. Even though this isn't exactly going to be the hardest worker, it's just kindling. You never know, maybe sometimes I want to try it out in a different way. I have really enjoyed using the shorter handles for bucking. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're getting down to some of that thickness now. You see how I do some of those slicing cuts? You do those with the toe. So the slicing cuts happen up top, and those are also kind of your fine. You know, if you want to do fine work, you do it with the toe. Like look at these little petite shavings that are coming off. Petite like my appetite. Such a tiny appetite. Yeah, I try not to, like, when I'm working, when I'm like doing stuff, I don't really joke around too much. Doesn't really work out too well for a YouTube channel, does it? Where people want to see me working. But I'm sorry, I enjoy the work a lot, and from an early age I learned, you know, it's not time to really joke around when you're doing things where you're in danger. You're in imminent danger, you know. There goes the strop. Just making this a more crazy angle to it. Just giving it a little angle. Yeah, now we're good. The good thing about carving a handle is you can leave a ton of material, extra material, and then either work it with the draw knife or however you know, do your finishing. Okay, let's take a little off the front. Well, this is dangerous. So, first of all, I'm going up the grain, so it's the wrong way. And second, you don't want to take too much material off the front. You want it to be in line. You want the tongue to gradually go into that swoop in the front, you know, in front of the shoulder, basically, parallel to the shoulder. You want that to look like it fades in. Okay, so now we turn it, and we get rid of that tear out. Could be going too far right now. I got to make sure. I keep eyeing down this thing. No, that looks pretty good, actually. I know I could remove a little bit because I gave myself some extra room. You think I should stop being a puss and try to go for this palm swell? Okay. What do we got here? So line up with where it starts swooping. So I'm going to do a little cut there just so I can see where I don't want to keep. I kind of want the concave to start, you know, rounding in to that point. Like that's the middle of the concave. Maybe it isn't. I should probably go get another handle that I can copy. By the way, if you think you need something special to carve with, you don't. This is a pretty poorly shaped handle that I rounded a little bit more. My own piece of white oak, it looks like. And look, it's not even fit on right. I just slammed it down, so now it's fitting again. Now it's tight again, I mean. It's weird that it hasn't come loose. It's on good now. Yeah, let's see. Let's think a little about what I want to actually do with this. Where does the concave meet? Where's the center of that concave? Very important to have that kind of planned out in your head. Okay. I'm going to just wing it. Very important to have that planned out, but unless you're me. All right. Doesn't look too bad so far, but I know there's a goofy looking hump that I have to get rid of. Tear out is actually a good thing. Tells you what's happening with the grain. Are you going up the grain, or are you going down the slope of the grain, which is where it won't tear out? And you know, that's kind of a nice thing that it lets you know what's going on exactly. Can tell you a lot about your timber there. Huh. This is looking pretty goofy. Okay, now I see. I got to go in a little bit higher. All right. Now remember, this is rough, so because it's rough and you leave a lot of extra material, even if you make some mistakes, it's pretty easily solvable. I want to make sure to leave a nice amount of material here, extra. Hey bud, dog is just out of camera. He's having a nice time. Hey bud, you want some white oak? Want some white oak chips, fresh out of the oven, fryer. Can you guys see everything I'm doing? I like how I ask questions to nobody. So you see now, there's a bit of a dip, but I know that looks ugly. That'll come out as I start to shape more. So now I'm being careful because these are, you can't put the material back. That looks a lot better just like that. All right. Now I could do this a lot faster, but I'm going, I'm taking my time. When you're shaping something that took a year or more to dry, take your damn time, dude. You worked hard for that billet. So, I've finished billets that I'm not happy with. It's probably better to just scrap them when they suck. But it's hard for me to do that because I kind of worked to get that lumber, Oh yeah, that was quite a lot that I just did. Trying to make that more gradual. All right. So now that I'm not really hammering on it, my hand can hold it and be the support. It also is going to help you get more power into each swing when you prop it up against, I use it's literally just a firewood round with legs on it. So it weighs, 100 pounds or something. It's very useful to have something like this. I really recommend it. Okay, now let's do a little straighten test. I might start taking off, I'm this lazy where I'll keep these lines as long as I possibly can. It's just so I don't have to redo them. Because I like having I like having something to look at, Just a rough, it's not even close to the final shape, but keeps me on track a little bit. Okay, so now we're going downhill. Show you what I mean by downhill. Yeah. So it doesn't tear out until I get to the very bottom of that concave I was making, and then it wants to go back and travel up up the slope. So this is the middle of the concave, and anything past that, if I'm going this way, it's going to tear out. Hope you guys can see what I'm talking about here. All right. So now I go the other way to get rid of that tear out, and I just, do those nice slicing cuts. Let's hold it. I haven't even done that yet. Oh yeah, that's going to be really nice. Perfect fit already. No, I'm kidding. It's funny. Just looking at what I got to do here. So what I see is it's high on this side, and it's high in the belly on the other side. So I got to be careful because you can't put anything back on the palm swell, and that's really the most important part. You see guys do laminations. I don't do laminations. It's another aspect you got to add to it, so it can be quite a lot. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's get rid of that trace. Got plenty of material, so you can go pretty hard on this. One thing I really want to tell you guys, avoid putting your front finger into the bit. Let me tell you why you don't do this. When you're carving dry wood, pretty much, yeah, if it's green and you're doing little tiny shavings and they're not like straight daggers, you know what happens when you put that finger out there? Splinters go right into your nail, and guess why I know that? You can guess. It's one reason why I like big bits, because if I put my finger, well, never mind. It's not one reason. Don't listen to me, I'm an idiot. Okay, so that line is pretty good actually now. Now I just gotta going up the grain. Now we got to do the palm swell on the other side. So, what's the best way to get rid of a little bit extra material just here? Just go slowly. The whole palm swell is not going to be used anyway, so don't worry too much about it. Just trying to line up everything. Okay, now again, other side where the lines were. You don't have to go too crazy on the tongue, but will make it easier if you have it close to your final thickness. But you know, with the hatchet, you don't have to worry too much. This is something actually made for the hewer. This is actually what this is perfect for. Is big faces that you want to make straight. Okay. So now I gotta turn it. Let's see where exactly. So when I am eyeing down this handle, I'm looking for almost landmarks, and I'm going, okay, landmark right here at my thumb. So I put the handle down. I remember where that was, and I try to blend it into the rest of the handle. Now I just tore out right there, but it doesn't matter because the handle's very thick right now. All right, let's do a little cleaning up of that tear out. That'll be fine. Let's see where we are. Pretty good. So the top of the tongue is a little high. It's a little high right here. So let's get that. Let's get a little more material removed. Each one more time. Remember. Okay, so about right here. Oh yeah, that's better. I can shape the tongue a little if I want, but you can do all that work pretty quick with a draw knife. All right, you know what? That's not bad. Let's call it a day. Here's where we're gonna end. Not terrible. A lot of work. Now, if you have a bandsaw, you do a lot of that work in 2 minutes, but you know, now I have a intimate knowledge of this timber, and I look cooler. That's what matters. Look how perfect this lumber is. I mean, wow. Wow. It's not me. I'm not a piece of this lumber. You know, it's like my child, you know, got honors. Got honors. He's in advanced classes, which I never was, so he's better than me. Thanks for watching.